Skoda Octavia vRS was already a car which could do it all. This is the ultimate sleeper wagon. It has all the practicality in space, but it also has performance and just an air of cool about it. But what makes a Skoda Octavia even cooler? Well, a TentBox, of course. Why not turn your car into a compact camper? This thing is awesome, but add this on top and you can go anywhere. Plus, it has all the space for everything but a kitchen sink. Oh wait, no, hang on, that's not right. Yeah, because this Skoda Octavia vRS, this actually has a kitchen sink. Hi guys, I'm Tish and welcome back to my channel, Also Social UK. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you everything that I love about the latest generation Skoda Octavia vRS. I'll tell you a bit about the TentBox and a little bit about the kitchen sink, which is in the back of this car. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. First of all, however, we're going to cover the slightly mundane stuff. So let's talk about what has changed for this latest generation of Skoda Octavia vRS. Now with more power, sharper styling and even smarter tech, this facelifted VRS wants to remind us that you don't need to go electric or spend Porsche money to have proper performance in your life. But is it still the enthusiast choice, or has the VRS become too grown up for its own good? Well, let's find out. The styling has been sharpened for this latest model. You now have slimmer matrix LED headlights as standard, with new crystalline detailing, which looks seriously smart. And yes, that lighting signature is full-on sci-fi at night. There's a new grille, tweaked bumpers, and those signature VRS flourishes, gloss black trim, red brake calipers, and 19-inch alloys. It's just enough to make it stand out without shouting about it. I personally love the estate. It's longer, meaner looking, and arguably cooler in that understated way that fast wagons always are. Under the bonnet is a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine. It's now been boosted to 265 PS. That's about 261 brake horsepower, and it's paired together with 370 pound-feet of torque. That's 20 horses up compared to the outgoing version. And whilst that might not sound like a big leap, the difference in real-world punch is actually pretty noticeable. 0 to 62 takes 6.4 seconds in the hatch and 6.5 if you go for this estate. And unlike some of its rivals that send power through all four wheels, the Octavia vRS is front-wheel drive only, but it uses an electric hydraulic VAQ differential to smartly manage grip. It's basically a clever way of limiting the wheel spin and helping you pull out of corners cleanly, even in the wet weather. The 7-speed DSG gearbox is familiar in the Volkswagen group. It's fast, it's smooth, and it is slightly clinical in how it shifts. But most owners will love its convenience, and I've always quite liked this box. And if you want a bit more engagement, then you still have the paddles behind the steering wheel to keep things interesting, to take over with the gear change yourself. The VRS sits 15mm lower than the standard Octavia, and if you spec it up with dynamic chassis control, you get adaptive dampeners which can firm up or soften depending on your drive mode. Safety tech has been improved for this latest generation too. The updated Octavia now gets second-generation matrix LEDs, predictive pedestrian protection, blind spot detection, and even turn assist, which can automatically brake if it thinks you're about to pull out in front of someone. There's also a new clever drowsiness detection system that monitors your steering inputs and warns you if you're drifting or reacting slowly. Great if you're doing long commutes or late-night driving. And whilst the bulk of this review is of course all about the Octavia vRS, I couldn't have a TentBox Light 2 on loan and not show you how easy it is to turn your Octavia into a portable camper. So I'm going to put a bit of a time lapse on and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to put it up, even when you're just one person. So as you can see, it was super simple to put up the TentBox Light too, even for a girl like myself who refuses to read instructions. It's also really simple to put away again, which I'll show you in a moment. Now this TentBox, compared to the hardtop ones, the hardtop ones simply just pop up and pop down again. So you just tuck things in, but they have a hard top, so there's no extras. This one, however, feels a little bit more like a tent. So this has the cover over the top, which is your rain cover, and then it has your poles which stick out, so they give you a little bit of that kind of rain coverage. Feels a bit more like a proper tent. You've also got the windows at the top, which mean that you can stargaze when it's clear night, which I absolutely love. I've only had this for a very short amount of time, so it was delivered on Thursday, which is when I left for the festival, and it's going back today, which is Monday, so I'm trying to get this filmed before it goes back. Now I do want to do an in-depth tour of a full TentBox, so if you want to see that, then let me know in the comments down below. But this is a quick overview of just how easy it is to turn something like a Skoda Octavia into the ultimate camper. But that's just one piece of the equipment that's been added to this Octavia vRS. So why don't we check out the kitchen? So as we all know, the Skoda Octavia has always been the benchmark when it comes to practicality. Inside of the boot, you get 600 litres if you go for the hatch, but if you go for this, the estate, then that actually grows to 640 litres. But there's not quite that much space inside of my Octavia, and that's because it's fitted with a full kitchen set. Looking at it now, you would never ever know. But this box just down here, the EGOE box, this is a tailor-made kitchen set. Pull it out and you will find a pop-out sink, which you can actually rig up water via a bottle to be able to make that into a functioning sink. Pull it out a little bit further and then that will reveal the full kitchen, which includes a gas hob. You have loads of storage either side, storage for your cutlery, your dining equipment, but also your gas bottles. And as I mentioned, underneath this chopping board, you've got your water bottle here to be able to use the sink as a functioning sink. It really does make camping with your Skoda Octavia the best thing, because you don't need anything. You need no camping equipment, you need nowhere to sleep, you have it all right here, which I think is fantastic. Unfortunately, I didn't have a huge opportunity to actually test this out, but I can imagine, just like the TentBox, it works really, really well. It's mostly because the campsite food and also the food in the festival was just really good. So I didn't exactly want to be making my own, but I would really love another opportunity to be able to take the Skoda Octavia somewhere a little bit more remote where I really had to fend for myself. Now, in everyday driving, the car feels composed, planted and genuinely enjoyable. There's a touch of understeer if you really push it, but for fast road driving, it's actually super confidence inspiring. Compared to the likes of the Cupra Leon or the Hyundai i30N, the Octavia is less shouty and it feels more grown up. It's not quite as playful, but it's also more comfortable and it's a hell of a lot quieter if you want that sort of thing. I wish it made a bit more noise. You can genuinely enjoy driving this car fast without feeling like you're on a track day special. Its mature performance is like a Golf GTI, but it has a bit of a Czech sense of humour. Performance cars aren't usually known for being frugal, but the Octavia vRS is pretty efficient for what it is. Now, officially on the WLTP cycle, it's rated up to 40.4 miles per gallon. But on my long-term test route, which included plenty of hills through the south of England and a steady stint on the M25, I actually managed a genuine 43.6 miles per gallon, and I've got the TentBox on top, so that's not helping efficiency. Plus, that is super impressive for this nearly 300 brake horsepower level of performance car. It also will quite happily run on 95 unleaded, so there's no need to splash out on the premium fuel, unless you really want to. If you're doing long miles or using this as a fleet car, it's efficient enough to justify itself even before you factor in the performance. Just like the exterior, the interior is sporty but subtle, and I think that perfectly suits the VRS's personality. You have some really nice sporty touches, which include these seats. So these are wonderful. You've got these wingback sport seats, but they are actually cloth, which in the winter and summer are both good things as they don't get too hot or too cold. You've also got the diamond stitching in the centre, you've got red stitching down the sides, and you've got this red detailing in the bolstering and also down the middle of the seat. You also have VRS finished on these too. And I love the fact that you've got ISOFIX fitments on the front seat as well. So we've got 2 in the rear and 1 in the front as well, which makes it practical as a family car. You also get plenty of storage. You've got a leather wrapped armrest with storage inside here. You've got 2 cup holders. You will find a little pop out section which you can pop your mobile phone in and a couple of coins. And if you're not using that, then you can close that off, which I always think just tidies things up. You've also got wireless charging in this model. So what has changed for this latest generation? Well, not a huge amount, but the one thing that has changed is really quite obvious, and that is the super large 13-inch screen. This is the touchscreen that we've seen across the rest of the Skoda range and also the Volkswagen Group. It's not my favourite. I think it's a touch too big in my personal opinion, but it works really well. They've changed it a bit across the years as well. So the functionality is super smooth. It's really quick to the touch. You can move around the screen really easily. The satellite navigation loads up quickly. And this latest generation is also got built-in voice recognition and with ChatGPT as well, so voice assistant. You've got shortcuts that you can access by pulling down the screen. You can change those so you can have the things that you want to get to quickly, Apple CarPlay, or even your driver aids. Getting to your driver aids is also quite easy. So you touch the car in the corner and then assist systems. So it's just a couple of clicks to be able to turn off the things you want to turn off, but you do have to do that every time. The one reason I don't like this screen, however, is no climate control functions. Come on, Skoda, we know that you can do it. In the Skoda Kodiaq, they still have physical controls, so it's a shame that we've lost those. You do have a shortcut here for your climate, and then I like the fact that you've got functions like fresh air, warm feet, warm hands to quickly be able to do those things, but then everything else is on the touchscreen. So you will have to adjust your climate control for you and your passenger, and also your heated seats are all done in the touchscreen. It's just a little bit of a shame. But that is the only disappointing thing. The rest is super practical. Nice big door cards. I've got a little bin in here. I've also got a really big glove box as well. And I've also got a glasses case, which is on top of the roof. The layout is all really nice. It's a nice mix of materials. They're not the highest quality. You have to remember that when it comes to Skoda, it's more of an entry level into the Volkswagen Group. And that means that whilst you do have this carbon effect across the dashboard, which I really like, you've got a fabric on the dash, which has the red stitching, which actually works quite nicely in this car, but of course it's not super high quality. And then you've got plastics lower down, but they really do not bother me at all. I love the steering wheel. So we've got a leather wrap steering wheel, perforated on the edges. You've got these nice heavy weighted dials in this kind of like metal material. You've also got a flat bottom with it being the VRS, and you've got VRS written on it as well. The one thing I don't like about this steering wheel is the position of the adaptive cruise control. So it's behind the steering wheel. It's a little bit fiddly to use. Once you know it's there, it's fine, but I do prefer to have it on the front of the wheel. You also get a digital dashboard, and in this latest generation of VRS, it's the first one which can get a proper head-up display as well. So definitely adding a spot of luxury into the VRS. The best way to describe the boot is thoughtful. The Octavia vRS has one of the widest, squarest load bays in its class, so bulky items slot straight in without a fight. The load lip is low, making it easy to lift heavy bags or awkward kit inside. You also get clever touches like shopping bag hooks pretty much everywhere. There's underfloor storage in the standard cars and a 12-volt socket for powering accessories. The rear seats fold almost completely flat, so whether you're loading camping gear, sports kit, or in my case, an entire EGOE kitchen unit, it's a boot that's ready for everything. Of course, with this being the estate version, space in the rear is class leading. It's brilliant in the back here. I've got so much legroom, and headroom is also brilliant. Despite this not being a taller car, this is a sporty estate, but I still have loads and loads of headroom. I've also got 2 ISOFIX fitments in the back here, and we've got a pull down armrest, and it gets those wonderful pull out cup holders here. You haven't got any device holders like you do in something like the Tiguan. However, you do have this. So you can get a portable device holder which actually slots into the seats, and then kids can watch iPads, or you could get one smaller and you could put your iPhone in there as well. You've also got pockets on the backs of the seats, but you've got a smaller pocket in the middle as well that you can pop your phone in, which I think is really handy. I also love this central device. So again, this is an accessory, but this accessory basically slots into the middle here, and then it's got little extra pop-out cup holders, which means you've actually got loads of spaces to put cups. You've got the middle seats, but you've also got this in the centre here, and you've also got loads of storage in the doors. Doors are also felt lined as well, so that means that things aren't going to rattle around. 2 USB-C chargers as well, and there's also rear seat ventilation as well. There's no 3-zone climate control, but there is ventilation in the back. So overall, it's a very practical, very comfortable space. If you already thought you were winning at life with an Octavia vRS, then try putting a TentBox on top. I have felt so cool in this car, but it's the perfect kind of cool. It's not a show-off kind of cool. It's just that kind of cool that other people know that you both know your cars and you're a little bit outdoorsy. And who doesn't want to be a little bit outdoorsy? But let me know, what do you think of the updated Octavia vRS? Pop it in the comments down below. Do you have a TentBox or even a kitchen in your compact car? Let me know what you have. I'd love to hear all about it. And if you do want to see a little bit of coverage of the Fairy Festival, then head over to the Tish Does Travel channel. Thanks again to Skoda for lending me the Octavia with all of my sleeping equipment. It made glamping at a festival very different than in previous years when I've slummed it in a pop-up tent for one person. I really hope you've enjoyed this video today, guys. If you have, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, see you later.